For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Community are protesting the deplorable state of the roads, and the police have been on the scene. Also coming up, raise your hands. Which government minister, on the point of principle, is prepared to lose his or her visa? And that is to take a stance against the United States, which warns to impose visa restrictions on countries that are benefiting from the Cuban medical mission. All that and more between now and at 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. It is on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel and Power 97.9 FM. A little bit later, I'll be taking your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. It was in December of last year, Infrastructure Minister Stephenson King gave himself a high mark as far as his performance in the Ministry of Infrastructure. Now, seldom we hear people saying, I'm doing a good job, I'm doing a fantastic job. Normally you leave it to somebody else to carry out a fair and independent and supposedly impartial assessment and then reach a conclusion. Not so with the Infrastructure Minister, Mr. Stephenson King. Let's listen and let's watch.
I don't worry about persons who want to criticize my work or to attempt to denounce what I'm doing and to attempt to question whether I am performing as I should. I know I am doing a good job. And I'm not saying this, I'm not the one saying that. That's what people say to me.
I know that I'm doing a good job. It's not me saying that. The people say that to me. Those people should really come forward. Anyway, In the community of Roseau, apparently the people there are saying enough is enough as far as the deplorable state of the roads in the community is concerned. And they have been agitating. They have closed a section of the road. I think it looks like the road, the entrance to the distillers over in Roseau. And they are there in a significant numbers. They were at least earlier on today. Don't know what the current situation is. But I think this is reflective or suggestive of how a lot of people are feeling in St. Lucia right now with regard to the deplorable state of our roads, if we still can consider them, some of them roads, and the fact that they're contributing towards the damage to our vehicles. And a lot of people have been calling this broadcast as a form of protest, their own little form of protest, but not so in the case of some residents over in Roseau. And let us see those people in action. Let's also listen to some of the comments that they are making on the sidelines.
Roadblock here.
Roadblock, boy. That's not Jamaica, boy.
No work today. That we have to do.
It's the road, boy.
You can't pass there. You're a madman.
Yo pasa por here, puxa lá, puxa por pièce, mano. Papa! Yeah, the fellas gonna stand up in the middle of the road there, yeah, the fellas mean business there, yeah, you mad, yeah, shoot them, yeah.
What if we were to have protest action in every community where the road is in a deplorable state? I think we'd have protest action taken on a daily basis on the island. Irrespective of what the infrastructure minister says, definitely he has not been doing a good job. And I'm sure that you don't need to carry out a survey to determine whether that is true or not. He has not been doing a good job at all. And this certainly is manifesting itself in the experiences that we are having on our roads as motorists. It is deplorable. It is very painful to drive on some of those roads, and particularly if you have to traverse those parts of the island where the road is just impassable, and you have to do so on a daily basis, primarily because you have to head to locations of work, if you have to go to school, if you just have to, go and see friends, family, and so on. It is definitely a mess, and it has featured prominently on the various political platforms. On the side of the United Workers' Party, laying blame at the feet of the infrastructure minister and the ministry, and on the side of the government, making excuse after excuse. Definitely, it is very shameful what is happening in this country as far as the poor state of our roads is concerned. Unfortunately, there's another issue which has surfaced, and we have not heard from our foreign minister. We are yet to hear from the Prime Minister and all those people in St. Lucia, those revolutionaries, those people who love Cuba and praise Castro and support the communist regime. The Secretary of State of the U.S., Marco Rubio, recently stated that countries that are sanctioning Cuba's medical mission, and in particular those officials, your Ministry of Health, your Minister of Health, the CMO, their relatives, etc., those people can face visa restrictions because of their support for this Cuba medical mission. And so far, we have heard from the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, saying she doesn't mind losing the visa on a point of principle. Dr. Keith Rowley has done the same. And just listen to what the Vincentian Prime Minister, Dr. Gonzalez, said recently whilst participating in a public forum, political forum of the opposition People's National Party over in Jamaica.
The Secretary of State of the United States of America has issued a statement that countries which are complicit, in his words, with trafficking in persons and exploiting Cuban professionals, the doctors and engineers who come, that those who are complicit would lose their passport, they lose their visas and their families. Now, I know we're not involved in any exploitation of Cuban workers. And I know that the Cubans are not involved either, the Cuban government. I know the arrangements. And I believe that the Secretary of State is a good and decent man. I would not say anything bad about him. I don't say things, it is not in my nature to say bad things about people unless I have the evidence. And I have no evidence. And he appears to me to be a good man. And if he knows the facts, I'm sure that he will understand that we are not involved in that. But if it is determined that you have to take away my visa and Eloise's visa, I want to say this publicly. It could be reported. I'm not looking for a fight with anybody. But we have to be honest and open. The hemodialysis which we do in St. Vincent at the Modern Medical and Diagnostic Center with these 60 persons, without the Cubans there, I will not be able to offer that service. So, does anybody expect that I to go because I want to keep a visa, that I would let 60 persons from the poor and working people to die? It will never happen.
Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez. Again, the question, which government minister would sacrifice his visa for the Cuba or Cuban medical mission? Which one? We have on the line a former government minister, a former foreign minister, former minister of health, Mrs. Sarah Flood Bobra. Hello, good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Hello, Timothy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us on NewsSpin. Your thoughts on what the Secretary of State of the U.S., Marco Rubio, has said with regard to possibly imposing visa restrictions on officials who support the Cuban medical mission, and St. Lucia is one such country.
So, Timothy, I see you've put me on the spot on this one because you haven't been able to get a government minister or the prime minister to speak on this. So I'm happy to share my thoughts, to think aloud on this. The first thing I want to note, Timothy, is the importance of the Cuban doctors and health professionals who've worked here for so long with us. I remember even when we were revamping mental health, when I was the Minister of Health way back in 1997, 1998, that the Cubans came to our help, and that was how we were able to revamp mental health, or at least start to do it, the mental health reform. And we know the importance of the Cuban doctors, nurses, medical professionals who have been supporting our health system for so long. And so there is reason for us all in the Caribbean to be alarmed at the threat of the sanctions and the wide-ranging sanctions that might be imposed. I know, Timothy, that the Caribbean governments have asked for an urgent meeting with the Secretary of State or U.S. officials to discuss this, and I think it's really important for that meeting to be held. I also note that Gaston Brown, that's the Prime Minister of Antigua, observed that some aspects of the program can be tweaked. He's talking about, because the U.S. has certain concerns about the remuneration of these doctors and medical professionals and how it is that is organized. I think that is what the U.S. is concerning. Gaston Brown is noting that some aspects of the program can be tweaked. And I also know that the Jamaica foreign minister says that Jamaica is examining the operations of their system. Ralph Gonzalez, in speaking about the Secretary of State, says he thinks that if the Secretary of State knows the facts, that he might take a different view. So I'm saying all this to say that clearly there is need for urgent dialogue between CARICOM leaders and the U.S. officials. I understand the CARICOM has asked for that dialogue, and I'm hoping that can be held as soon as possible. So, Timothy, at the end of the day, it is really important for us to preserve the presence of the Cuban professionals here in St. Lucia and in our region. If there are some issues that need to be spoken about, that need to be addressed, I think it's important that they all be put on the table and addressed. And I am not one to say that we should ever compromise our principles just to avoid sanctions, but what is important is dialogue. It may be that there are some areas that need to be addressed. And, I mean, our leaders are not denying that. They are observing that themselves. So I think what is crucial is that we need to preserve the presence of these doctors, nurses, and professionals in our region. It is really important. Sure, there is a need for dialogue. I mean, we have partnerships with Cuba. We have partnerships with the U.S. We need the Cuban health professionals. We need the Cuban professionals here. There might be aspects of the program that need to be looked at and to map a way forward. So this is my take on it, Timothy, for the moment.
But what if, irrespective of the measures that would have been taken by Caribbean leaders or governments to tweak the program, it does not meet the satisfaction of the administration in Washington? Because you know that Trump likes to prove that he's powerful and he likes to have his way.
Right, so I think that we can cross that bridge when we get there. What I think is important to note is that Caribbean leaders themselves have observed that there are aspects of the program that may need to be tweaked. So it is not that the U.S. has not identified something that is of concern. The Caribbean leaders are saying perhaps there is. So that suggests that there is a need for dialogue and there might be room to negotiate this. So this is really urgent and really important for our Caribbean leaders. It's also a matter of importance to the U.S. I think there is reason to come to the table. And from my understanding, Caribbean leaders have requested an urgent meeting. I think we should pursue that. That should be held as soon as possible. And from there, we can make decisions. But what is really important for us to notice that our health systems depend on the assistance from Cuba. We also have had, over the years, a great relationship with Cuba. We also have a great relationship with the United States. We would like to maintain both of these, and if we can do it in a way which protects our health system while at the same time addressing concerns if they are genuine. So I think we're at the point now where negotiation is key, and that's the way we should go.
What do you think about the three CARICOM leaders in Mia Motley and Dr. Keith Raleigh and Dr. Gonzalez saying that they really don't mind having their U.S. visas revoked if they have to take a principled position on this?
Right, but these same leaders have requested dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we should compromise our principles unless it's a matter. I mean, I don't think we should compromise our principles, period. But first, let us see if we can dialogue, because we might be able to avoid the sanctions, we might be able to preserve the program while not compromising our principles. So that would be a win-win situation, and that's what we always go for first in diplomacy.
Find it strange that we have not heard from any of our officials on this issue, ma'am? The Prime Minister, the Health Minister, the External Affairs Minister?
Right. Well, I certainly think it's over time and it's overdue for them to address this issue. It is really important. And I mean, if CARICOM leaders are going to meet with the U.S. officials, I'm sure our foreign minister or prime minister would be among these. They will be negotiating on our behalf. They will be addressing our concerns. So I think it's really important for them to speak. But I would say priority now is negotiation.
Hypothetical, ma'am. If you were Health Minister of Foreign Affairs, would you risk losing your visa in such a circumstance?
It would depend on what the principle is. I think at the end of the day, principles are principles, and it is at difficult times that we see how much we value certain of our beliefs. But we have not reached that point, is what I'm saying. We have not reached that point because we're asking for a meeting. We're recognizing, and when I say we, Antigua has, Jamaica has, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has to a certain point, said that there is room to speak because the program may need to be looked at, may need to be tweaked, so that all sides can be happy with it. And that is the best way to go. So that meeting between CARICOM leaders and the U.S. is urgent. And that is what CARICOM leaders should be focused on at the moment.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking with us on this subject. You just heard there from former St. Lucia Foreign Minister as well as former Health Minister, Mrs. Sarah Flood-Bobra. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. Let's find out from Amanda what's happening in the chat room, if there's anything to report at this time.
Good afternoon, team. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. Just a few comments from me, team. Someone says here, we need more of that to send a strong message to the failure ministers. And NewsSpinner says here, you'll get something to run your mouth about. There are so many other things that you all are quiet about. Speak on them too. Another comment reads, team, that's not important right now. Our sovereign wealth fund is top priority. Another comment here reads, Prime Minister, we need to hear your voice on this matter. A NewsSpinner says here, I don't think the little black boy will give up his visa because little black boy and the rest of his colleagues likes living big. They love traveling on taxpayers' pockets. Another comment here reads, team, are you aware that the Cuban government educates their people and sends them out to the Caribbean, and the Cuban government holds these people passports at the respective embassies on the Cuban government, and the Cuban government takes 70% of the professional salaries? Sounds like trafficking to me, subject to correction. That's it for now, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We have some more of your reports, updates coming up with regard to what is happening in the chat room. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Just got some information that Reno, the construction company, they're currently working on the roads over in Roseau as we speak. So if you are in the vicinity of Roseau, if you are in the area where the protest action took place earlier today, and you can share some images with me, video or photographs, please go ahead and do that so that we can share with the rest of the world. Because it was just earlier today that some folks were protesting the deplorable state of the roads over in the section of Roseau, and then we have action being taken on the part of the authorities. And let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through at this point in time. Somebody says there, these people take a stand, and rightfully so. The roads are not good. I wonder how many of them said that people don't eat roads. Ha ha ha, shaking my head. And let's see, do we have a call on the landline? We do. Good afternoon to you. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Yes, good day, sir.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, I'm calling from Hospital Road.
Yes, sir.
If Tikaro is going up, then he has my vote, along with me and my 5 brothers and sisters. If Tikaro is not going up, then we're staying out of that. That's all I want to say to you.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let me see if I have any of your messages to go through. Somebody says there, in VF4 North, most of the roads are still in a deplorable condition after 50 years of representation by the St. Lucia Labour Party. The roads in Grace, Kako, Vigier, and Fort-Joyer are the worst. We need to vote for our development and for our future, not for color or party. Let's see if we have another call on the landline. Do we? At 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let me see there if I could go through a WhatsApp message, but first we have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, team. How are you?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Team, I want to respond to something the representative for Denver North said in terms of progress. It's not something I wanted to do, but I think I have to do it to correct the wrongs or fact check.
Mm-hmm.
Under the Labour Party in 1998-99, Denver Farmco went down. NDC closed out Denver Farmco. Under the Labour Party, we lost Belfast. Under the Labour Party, we lost the Marbury development. We was empowering people, giving lands to people, or selling land contemplated to break up the farm to start selling lands to the people. We lost that. Under the Labour Party, we had an ecotourism that started in 2009-10. We lost that. Under the Labour Party, we do not have one cricket wicket in the entire Marbury, but we are playing a Prime Minister tournament today. Under the Labour Party, Denver Farmco Ford Foundation shut down. There have not been anything other than the NICE program to bring meaningful employment to the people. Under the Labour Party, we lost the farming community. I can go on and on, but I chose to see that now. Team, something is wrong. This socialist, I was part of the Labour Party in 1997. I worked hard for the Labour Party in 1992. But when come 1998, 1999, when we went to Babon one, I started to hear affirmative action. I felt that was crazy. That would divide the people. That was crazy. And I have not proven myself wrong. These handouts need to stop. We need to develop this country holistically. There need to be a plan that to take St. Lucia forward in the 21st century. We are quarter way in the 21st century, and I am not seeing it unfolding. Out of that 25 years, the Labour Party has governed this country for the last, let me see, 19 years of it. And I have not seen the way forward. The development model is not right. The development model they are using is to keep them in power. This is not right. We need to go. On your show in 1998, when I called and I says, look, we need to develop a blueprint for development in this country. A 15-year development model. When we go into 10 to 11 years into it, there may be new people in the system, new ideas. We develop it again for the next 15 years, and that we can mark a path for prosperity in this country. These handouts will not take us forward. we're going to end up like Haiti and a lot of these places in Africa. This handout is not good. We need to stop it. We need to stop being divisive. The divisive politics is not working. I have not seen for the last 14 years, Mr. Edward is in the valley leading. Yes, he was out for 5 years, but under his leadership as sports minister, I think the valley sports went down the worst. And to date, it has not worked. 3.5 years, he back at the helm. The sports in the valley is bad. I think there needs to be a new approach. Let's stop developing ad hocly. We need to chart a way forward, or our children will hate us. We have this crime scourge. Dr. Anthony, I put it at your feet. People who now at the age of 28, they were born during Anthony's reign, and we are blaming them for crime. We had a chance. I felt when Dr. Anthony came, the Messiah came, we had somebody to help us save this country. Because I criticized Compton, but quickly I realized I was wrong. Because the way I was thinking, I felt St. Lucia was developing too slow in the 80s and in the 90s with green gold. But I quickly realized I was wrong. He came in on the backs of the farmers, and immediately what they do say, look, these half-illiterate people cannot have power in this country to stop the country at will. If the farmers were strong still and they were together, fuel prices would never be up there. The roads would never be how it is because they would have come together quickly because it's affecting them. 90% of this feeder road going to farm are destroyed. I see we do concrete in the feeder road in the valley. It's because somebody now has shown up, and my rep seems to feel a little pressure. Where people was not eating road, now people ready to eat road. But the people are not seeing the economic gain from it. You put road on the farm, you put roads on the farm, it's not going. The Larry Shoe Street, I welcome this thing because I grew up in the valley. I fight for this from 1997. I'm fighting for the valley. But where we are doing the Larry Shoes Road, I think nationally, if we had a plan, the monies we are putting on the Larry Shoes Road now, I welcome the road. I want to see development. But this money should have gone on the main road where we have all the tourists and the majority of people traveling, make it more comfortable for them, save them tires. We are developing in the wrong way. We are developing only to keep power among a few. This is not right. This is not right. Tim, you will hear more from me.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. 452-2979. Once again, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody says, maybe the Prime Minister should send his star boy, Wayne Girard, to negotiate with the U.S. on this Cuba mission. Another WhatsApp message reads, so Tim, but the Cuban brigade spoke to a Cuban nurse yesterday. She told me it's not the government that is planning to send them back, but the Cuban government, because they are approaching 5 years, and if they meet that 5 years, they can file for St. Lucian citizenship, and that's why they are being sent back. She also informed me that some want to write the local exam and stay. And let's see if we have a WhatsApp call. Let's see if you have a call on the landline at 452-2979. Somebody says that via WhatsApp. In the meantime, you remember St. Lucians in America said they were voting for Trump because the economy was much better under him. I have not heard none of them call and say anything concerning the nonsense that he is doing. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message to go through. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, see if we have go through as many WhatsApps messages as possible. Okay, somebody says there. Do we have a call? We do. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Mr. Guy Joseph. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well enough, Tim.
Okay, what's in your mind?
Yeah, a couple of issues, Tim. The first issue I want to address, I know there's been a lot being said about the Cuban nurses and doctors, but I choose not to speak on this at this point in time. I think, first and foremost, the government has a responsibility to allay the fears of St. Lucians because of our heavy dependence upon the contribution of the Cuban doctors and nurses. And this is not a political matter, Tim. It is a matter that both governments in office and the people of St. Lucia have benefited from the input of the Cuban doctors and nurses. But for the government to choose to remain silent on a matter like this, that we have to go to Mia to hear what her stance is when she's saying that she doesn't have Cuban nurses and doctors in her area. We have to hear from Ralph and from Gaston. Where is our Prime Minister? Where is our government to at least say something about this? So I think that we have a Minister of Health, we have a Foreign Minister, we have a Prime Minister. He has the deputy, you have two deputies, you have the chairman of the Labour, all of them are members of the government. So they need to clarify this matter and let St. Lucians know what the stance of the government is going to be on this matter. My second point, Tim, is that of your guest on Newsmaker Live on
Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Tim, I will not delve too deep into this than to say I heard my name was mentioned by the gentleman, Mr. St. Rose. Other than to say it is rather unfortunate, the comments made by Mr. St. Rose. And I heard in his rebuttal to after the chairman called you yesterday, Tim, he was saying that he is not going to allow his character to be attacked and for him to be called a liar. Isn't that what he called when he called back?
Yes, that was his statement. Yes.
So, Tim, as an individual, and that's why I say these discussions are, it's rather unfortunate that Mr. St. Rose would be going out on radio and television calling other people liars, and yet still when he is called out, he feels that his character or his reputation, not his character, his reputation is being attacked. So when he says this, when he makes the same pronouncements about other people, what is that saying, Tim? So his word is gospel and everybody else's words means nothing? I mean, these are basic things that if you don't want to go down a certain road, you don't go down that road. Now, I'm not saying if somebody lied that you cannot say that the person is a liar. But if you feel that you are being attacked when you are called a liar, and I don't know if anybody actually called him a liar, but asked him rather when I listened to the chairman said, hey, there's information. And Tim, I was part of the meeting. And I was not the only one. The political leader was not the only one there. There were other persons. So, as a Bible man, Mr. St. Rose would know that in the eyes of 2 or 3 witnesses, matters can be established. Now, there can be false witnesses, yes. But, Tim, we are fighting the same cause with Mr. St. Rose. Every time that he called on your talk show, Tim, wasn't his call about the incompetence, the inability of the Labour Party to lead this country effectively? In essence, as a contributor to NewsSpin, wasn't that his thrust of argument that, look here, we have to do it differently because the present system is not working? Did I misread him when I was listening to him, Tim?
No, you didn't. Right, for me, Mr. Joseph, right now, as far as I'm concerned, this is a non-issue because Mr. St. Rose is now an independent candidate. He has to work to win that seat, the ancillary cannery seat. Wayne Gerard has to work to retain the seat, and Dominic Fede has to also work to try to recapture that seat. So for me, it's a non-issue what has transpired before.
I agree with you that it is his work to do, and it is his right, it's his democratic right to do so. But to choose to come and call other people liars when I was sitting in the meeting, now I can only speak to the meeting that I was present at. I cannot say what other people's conversations are outside of other discussions. The discussion, if he is making reference to that meeting, what his recollection of events is very inaccurate. And there are other witnesses who can testify to that. So Mr. St. Rose must be very careful not to be out there trying to brand people as liars, as this, as that, when he himself does not want the same to be leveled at him. And I'm saying, as far as I'm concerned, both Mr. St. Rose and the United Workers' Party is fighting the same cause. That this government is incompetent, this government cannot govern. So whether he does it as an independent, as a member of a party, or as an ordinary citizen, not even contesting an election, but making a contribution to the discourse in St. Lucia, that is welcome. But one of the other concerns I had, when he was asked about I think you asked him that question, Tim, about the performance of Mr. Girard in the constituency. Did you recall?
Yes, I posed that question to him on News Mega Live. Yes, I did.
Yes. And his response was he's not familiar enough. Or he does. You want to be a candidate. You've been going up and down the constituency. Even the Labour Party is aware that Mr. Girard has been absent as a representative, everybody in ancillary canneries is complaining about Mr. Girard to the point where the Labour Party had to give an excuse on the platform for the absence of Mr. Girard. And Mr. St. Rose chooses to come on TV and say to the whole of St. Lucia he doesn't know enough. So if he doesn't know enough about the representation of Mr. Girard as to whether it is up to par, why is he contesting to be an independent candidate to replace Mr. Girard? At least you need to check where Mr. Girard is on his performance to make a determination as to whether you are satisfied or not. And Tim, these gentlemen must be careful. There is one question that was put to him that was very clear, that he said in no uncertain terms he would not do that. I will choose not to say what it is. Mr. St. Rose knows, because we don't want to be at loggerheads with anybody who's going to challenge the Labour Party in the upcoming election. And even though he's doing it as an independent, it doesn't matter. My final point, Tim, I wanted to touch on. The Labour Party has once again started the smear campaign going after people. And of all persons they have chosen to come after me is Ernest Hillet. Now, Tim, on your program, to all your listeners, I am posing a challenge to Dr. Ernest Hillet. And he can choose anybody he wants in the Labour Party, including Stevenson King, Richard Frederick, and those who had served in opposition before when I was in government. And the two I mentioned, they served in government with me. We served together in a UWP cabinet. I am putting the challenge to the Labour Party and Ernest Hillet in particular. You all have had more than 10 years investigating me. I want you all to come out now with all the information that you have and let us go public in a public forum, broadcast live on TV. Bring the issues you have about me and my integrity. You can ask me any question you want, and there will be no legal implications for anything you ask or you say on that particular program. And I will come with all the information I have about the illegal, the corrupt, and the questionable practices of the St. Lucia Labour Party, including Mr. Hille himself. Tim, I am putting out this challenge because it's about time that people stop talking about things and take action. So I am giving them the opportunity. I've challenged them before and none of them have ever taken the challenge. I am once again putting it to them, Tim. You all are in government. You all have the levers of government. You have all government information at your disposal. I am not in government. I am not even in opposition in parliament. So I am a citizen of St. Lucia. I am a member of the United Workers' Party. I am putting it to them. If you cannot face me man to man, I will question you about what you have done, and you will question me about what I have done. We both can present the evidence to back up what we are saying, and let the people of St. Lucia decide for themselves who has integrity and who does not have integrity. I thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much, former government minister and deputy political leader of the opposition United Workers' Party, Mr. Guy Joseph. Still to come, we have some video to share with you of personnel of Reno. They are currently on the scene, and that is the section of the Roseau community. Apparently, they are rehabilitating the roads because we had protest action earlier today because of the deplorable state of a section of the roads in that community. And as a result of this, we have a response coming from the authorities. All that and more in just a moment as we continue with the most monitored talk show in the world.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you.
Just for me?
Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience.
So I get to treat myself every time I shop?
Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
Fast Pay, a new and easy way to pay. Fast Pay, Fast Pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow Fast Pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow Fast Pay, Flow Fast Pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Butey. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of a secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a video to share with you right now because I did issued an appeal to someone to send me a photograph of work being carried out in the areas on the roads in Roseau where there was a protest action earlier today, and that is the protest, the poor state of roads in the community. Well, the authorities have acted and they have sent equipment and I imagine material and also workmen and women to the area to remedy that problem. So as we speak, the measures are being taken to improve the state or the condition of the roads over in that section of Roseau where the protest action occurred earlier on today. Let's see if we have a call at 452-2979. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And of course, in just a moment, we'll be turning our attention over to Amanda to find out what is happening in the chat room with regard to some of the discussions that are taking place there. So please stand by as we continue our broadcast. We don't have a call, no. All right. Guess who is on the line on WhatsApp? Pato is on. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin.
Yeah,
It look like it's a whole year since I called it.
It's a while, Pato. We have not heard from you. How are you, sir?
Yeah. But I no problem. I knew spinners must be worried about me, but everything is good health-wise. You understand?
Okay, that is good.
Yeah, everything is good, and I'm wishing everybody a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, I stay a little while, and I'm listening every time, okay? But I stayed a long while just listening, and a lot of complaint, a lot of talk. And I'm listening the other day, will I hear some action or see some action? And it just continue going so. Now, what prompted me to call there today is what happened on that road thing there where they blocked the road and that thing you said there. And look, they took some action. You understand?
Yes.
And I'm saying that is how we're supposed to go. Enough of talking. And let's put some action into that talk. You're talking about the passport place. You're talking about this. You're talking about here, there, and everywhere. Who cannot hear must feel. You understand? And sometimes I'm saying it, and that's how it is. Sometimes some people have, I think that's how it is. Some people have to die so some other people can live well. Serious. Because, and what is happening with us there, we are dying slowly too. And when life has become a living hell, death seems better. So we cannot continue living in a country and letting a handful of people controlling our life, dominating us. And you know what happened to the oppressors? They feel good when they had the sufferers a balling, When vampires are drinking blood, they're taking a joy in it. While you might be thinking somebody forgot at me, obligé faire ça. You can rejoice en l'air. Just put tan nou ka hele. Vous comprenez? So, qui manière nous même pas qu'à try sortir en bagay ça là, one way or the other, either by will or by force. Do something. Lucian, we have to talk before we take action, but we should be tired of talking and complaining. Do something. Do something. That's my contribution.
Appreciate it, Pato. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great weekend. 452-2979. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Let's find out what's happening in the chat room. Amanda.
A commenter reads, I made that point about the Cubans. Imagine working as a doctor and your paycheck goes to the communist regime. A NewsSpinner says there are other communities. If you want your roads to be fixed, you know what to do. Now the commenter reads, Team on the St. Rose issue, Mr. Prudent never said if the applicants were contacted as a matter of common courtesy to tell them that they were not chosen. I get the impression the same thing happened to Champagne. If this is so, then the executive needs to inform the people who did not make it. Someone says that the real Minister of Infrastructure is at it again, trying to save his government. Commenter reads, the Cubans had to find a way to survive despite America's best efforts with their stifling embargo against them. Human trafficking is a real problem into and within America. Yet again, they're throwing those accusations around at Cuba. A NewsSpinner says that, wow, elections is really near. Reno reached there already. LOL. Another commenter reads, it's interesting how we have opposition candidates, which our government only sees and hears their voices as only to oppose. But when it comes to decision making, where they are also offering that same very voice to the government, for example, when the leader of the opposition submitted that letter of assistance on how the government should go about battling the high rate of criminal activities, but the help and the voice of the opposition is not being recognized. Instead, the government criticizes and attacks those who they should be working with for the betterment of this country. Someone says there, yes, and how they would make money on the stock market and that Trump would only target illegal immigrants. They have drank mumu juice now, orange flavored. Someone replied to this saying, which is why I refuse to engage with people who held that opinion, not realizing they were supporting an ideology designed to work against them. Damn fools. And another comment in the chat room here reads, this is not the first time that Guy is issuing a public challenge to the Labour Party to provide proof of the accusations against him. I am confident they will not take on the challenge. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We have some more updates coming up from you during the course of our program. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026, 716-2026. Okay, let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. And somebody says there, via WhatsApp, Tim, Mr. Pato is a VIP contributor to NewsSpin and always makes meaningful contributions. I think by now we should have had a picture of him on screen when he calls. Blessings to this gentleman. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello?
Chairman, there was a time when election season, I think I introduced the term here. Not that I created it, but I think I introduced it here. Years ago as the silly season. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of fun there. You're covering meetings and so on. You had laughs in the time of Compton and so on and so on. Now it is an embarrassment what passes for campaigns and an insult to the general intelligence. That's my attitude about it. Tim, how long have we heard allegations being tossed around on both sides? For how long?
For eons now.
Eh?
Eons.
I know. Those allegations have become more and more horrendous. From murder to hiring hitmen to stealing money, to writing letters on behalf of banks or whatever it is, to all of that to bring me to the call by Guy Joseph. Don't you think it's high time, Tim, that Guy Joseph set the example? Because he's the one who's been most attacked by the other side on his reputation, and so on and so on. That he would do other than simply challenge guys on the other side who level the most serious allegations at him. Because the guys are in government and they're safe and they have all the avenues to keep on pumping those allegations, further sullying, I'm going to guess, his reputation, his family's reputation, his legacy. And most of all, the people who support him need to feel that they are not complicit in criminality themselves. Yeah, no?
Rick, I think Rick, I think what should happen is by now we should have an integrity commission that is functioning.
Well, we're not going to have that, Tim. So let us talk.
No. Forget that we're not going to have it because we have an integrity commission, Rick. We have a body, we have a chairman, we have members of the Integrity Commission. And when they have all those things, by now the chairperson should have come forward, whoever that chairperson is now and the ones before, and issue statements
what do you mean?
On those particular issues.
That would be the ideal thing. But we know that we all wish we could fly without a plane.
But Rick, if there's sufficient evidence to prove that if we act, then we force those institutions to function. Just realize.
Last night.
Hold on, Rick. Just realize what happened there in Roseau. Right? The people protested. They blocked the roads and so on. And Reno is now on the scene remedying the problem. That's what it is. Otherwise, let us shut down the Integrity Commission. Let's do away with it.
You're proving my point. The people took some action. And even if you say, let's shut down the Integrity Commission, the Integrity Commission is effectively shut down, has been effectively shut down for years. We know we only have an Integrity Act, an Integrity Commission, in name only. Meanwhile, as I've pointed out before, the reputations, and Kenny Anthony said it too, also Bloom Cooper, so forget about me, the reputations of candidates, the way people think of candidates is far more important than they going to court and maybe win, maybe lose. It's far more important. And Kenny did say it, and I agreed with him in 2011, that we're too easy on candidates. We have a right to ask those candidates all kinds of questions, even more so if the candidate would volunteer that information that's interfering in our self-confidence.
But do we have the mechanisms? Do we have the mechanisms in place to do that, Rick?
We don't need mechanism.
What do we do?
The man just...
What do we do?
Say, please.
What do we do, Rick?
I'll tell you what, the people at Roseau didn't have any mechanism. They took action. Okay. If I am running for an election, and there are certain things being said about me over and over, I will call as many press conferences as I can, supplying all necessary detail for persuading people that my reputation is clean, etc., etc. I am not going to call knowing very well Hilaire and Richard and whoever else. I'm not going to have any debate, or they're not going to take you on, because it is more effective for them to stay in their perches and continue to throw the bucket of you-know-what on your reputation. And the reputation of a politician is the most important thing he has to sell. So forget all the mechanisms that ideally should be working, that has not worked under any government in this country. They're just words, nothing is implemented, etc. So now we have the final resort. It is for the people who are persistently accused of the most horrible misjudgments to make it their duty to put their supporters' first and foremost minds at rest. Perhaps there's nothing you can do.
How can they do that? How can they do that?
I will repeat myself. By calling as many press conferences as possible, by discussing that in the open with your evidence as much as possible. That's what you do.
Rick, what evidence? What evidence? If you produce so-called evidence...
All right, let us say...
Your detractors will say, that's not evidence, that's not credible. No, I'm being around long enough to know.
Your detractors are not who you are trying to persuade. Your enemies and the detractors in our circumstances will remain that regardless. But the people who support you deserve some kind of justification for continuing their support of you. It's also good for the country. And I don't understand why accused politicians find the safest thing is either to issue statements in the House that are not questioned, or to speak on TV shows where they don't have to take certain calls, etc., etc. Kenny Anthony said we have to start, in 2011, we have to start asking those guys very, very important personal questions. Ask them, because that's what they're putting themselves out there for.
But Rick, they are not making themselves available to the people.
But why are you trying to direct me to mechanisms that don't work because our politicians are corrupt in the first place? That's why the mechanisms are not working. So I'm saying, let us see a change and see those accused politicians make an effort, at least make a serious effort at clearing their names in the public domain. So all those mechanisms you're talking about, they don't work. And that dysfunction has been perpetuated for years and years and years because it suits the politicians. The politicians don't even seem to mind when they're called names in the House. They don't seem to mind. You know how many people have been called money launderers in the House, murderers, thieves, and wife batterers in the House? They don't care. The society doesn't even mind that anyway. By all appearances, the society doesn't mind having members of parliament who are suspect. It doesn't seem to mind. But we seem to be perpetuating that by not doing anything impactful. The people of Roseau could have been calling her over and over, just calling whatever. They took some action. And that's precisely the point I'm making. Or to be seen to be taking action. To be seen too. Take, for example, this matter that Guy Joseph was accused by Richard Frederick on his show of offering him a bribe. I think that's about the most serious thing you could say about a fellow MP. And I don't understand why that has not been nailed persuasively It's not enough simply to say, I want to give you an example. It's not enough simply to say, Zimbabwe. That's not true. Man, why would a minister offer another minister a bribe for what? And if a bribe was offered, why was no action taken? Stephenson King said he had to hold his nose and tolerate corruption in the party for 5 years in the interest of Castro's. Can you believe this? That means he tolerated corruption in the UWP for 5 years in the best interest of his constituency. So he made the constituency, the whole constituency, accomplishes in corruption. Is that a reasonable deduction?
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't think that requires some airing out? Because there are two versions of that story, by the way, and that's what intrigues me even more. And the people involved, all of them involved, need some accounting, because if there is any truth in there, all three people should be out of office. If there's no truth in there, well, good for guy clearing his name and his reputation and his legacy. We must not tolerate these guys, all of them, the politicians, using mechanisms to fool the people. George Odlum said it, and that is in 1974. The people have been fooled too many times by the politicians. And he went so far the extreme that the next batch of politicians to fool the people should be hanged in Columbus Square. That is how it was serious, how serious it was in 1974. It is 100 times more serious today, Tim. So we shouldn't be making any excuses on the basis of mechanisms set up. Look at your special prosecutor. That's another laugh at the public. At the public, the man has delivered nothing, no explanation. The people who hired him, no explanation. But Adam Shatner is supposedly under investigation, although he doesn't know it. Guy Joseph is under investigation, though he doesn't know it. Nice election gimmicks at the expense of the public, both in terms of their trust in the people they elect, as well as money being spent to maintain those farcical situations. We deserve all we get, We're too busy making excuses for mediocrity. Thank you very much, Tim.
All right, thank you so much. I totally disagree with Rick. The thing about taking your case to the public, taking your case to the people, and according to Rick, by now, Guy should have done sufficient to present the evidence and conclusively clear his name as far as those allegations that are being made against him. It has been done. Maybe the allegations have been being perpetuated or spread now for the last, let's say, for the last 10 to 15 years. This has been done to Guy Joseph. And no one has been able to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, provide the evidence that he is guilty of those things that he is being accused of. It basically is not for Guy to convene press conference after press conference after press conference and wave so-called documents and to say that on the basis of this document there that I am innocent. You think that people will genuinely buy into that kind of posture if this is done by Guy Joseph? We have systems in place. We have mechanisms in place. The thing that Rick does not want to hear, we must ensure that they function. We have an integrity commission. Have we heard anything from the persons who have been chairing the integrity commission to share the information that's being presented to them so that the public officials would provide documents, and that would certainly indicate whether those officials are acting above board or not as far as their dealings on behalf of the people of St. Lucia. We have not heard anything, not even the submissions that are made by the various public officials, including the ministers, the chairpersons of the various boards, the permanent secretaries. We just don't know anything at all. So those systems, we must ensure that they function. Do not leave it to the people who are making the accusations, and do not leave it to those people who are being accused. It's like catching our tail. We will not get anywhere at all with this particular issue. The other thing about when you present yourself, hold those politicians accountable. They must make certain disclosures, etc. The politicians, when they enter the political arena, they do not present themselves to the people of the country so that the people can question them. We have a few rallies, a few public meetings, and that's it. They're not interrogated. They don't appear on certain programs. They don't present themselves to the public so that questions can be posed to them. So we don't know what we are buying. We don't know invariably what we are supporting. This time around, we have so many new candidates entering the political arena. Which one of them? They have set up a town hall meeting where they could be questioned, interrogated by members of the public. Those same people do not appear in certain talk shows so that they can be grilled. We don't know anything about them. So, come election day, we just go in, blindly support those people, whether we are supporters of one party or the other. The system that we have, it is not functioning, it is not being utilized, and that is at the heart of the issue. We can't leave it to those people to prove their innocence and for another set of politicians to prove their guilt. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and it is called NewsSpin. Our question of the day: what does the future look like for independent candidates in St. Lucia? What does the future look like for independent candidates in St. Lucia? And just on Wednesday of this week, we heard from one such individual, Mr. Elwin St. Rose, who wants to contest the ancillary cannery seat as an independent candidate. Let's hear from him. If we have that clip, we'll play it right now.
Tonight, I am making my announcement that I am an official independent contender for the ancillary canneries constituency. I want my people to understand that, and I want them to hear that. I'm an independent candidate.
The broadcast continues just a moment with more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and of course, Amanda will be going through some of the comments in the chat room.
Lucilec's remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
Watch this view here. If you missed it, yeah, itchy nose.
The St. Lucia National Cricket Association Prime Minister's Cup is back. It's going down at 4 venues: PI, Philip Masler Grounds, Groseley, and Mindu Philip Park. Games will be played both day and night. Will the champions Groseley defend their title, or will we see a newly crowned champion this year? Teams taking part: last year's champion Groseley, runners-up Central Castries, South Castries, Babano, Monrepo, Mikud, Soufre, Viewfort North, Viewfort South, Denry, Choiseul, Babia Valley, and Deriso. This tournament bowls off on February 18th with defending champions Groseley coming up against Babano at 7 p.m. on the Groseley playing field. Games will be played from 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. Come out and support your favorite team. It's the St. Lucia National Cricket Association Prime Minister's Cup coming to a venue near you. Who's gonna emerge champions this year?
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you.
Just for me?
Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience.
So I get to treat myself every time I shop?
Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. WhatsApp message. I applaud the people of Roseau. They show the government that they will no longer keep silent and that voices must be heard. I hope more of us, Lucians, act the same way so our government will act. See if we have another WhatsApp message, and this one reads, how does the accused provide evidence of his innocence until formally charged? That would not be in his interest. The formal structure must be used properly. The special prosecutor was cited as being the one to bring this to a conclusive outcome. The failure to act to date is a travesty. The system and the public are being manipulated. We deserve better. And we have another WhatsApp message. Hi, Tim. Just to highlight what Rick is saying, the new leader of the Liberal Party in Canada, who has not even been sworn in as Prime Minister, has already officially placed his assets in and investments into a blind holding, which he has to make public. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let me see if I have another WhatsApp message. Tim, the Gadet Road in Dennery North is horrible and nothing is being done about this. We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Poleon.
Yes, ma'am.
Amanda.
Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I want to run two scenarios by you, and I really need your political and analytical response to this, because I really truly need to understand. Tim, you know, when you apply for a job, you are against several candidates. Sometimes you are told, even when they send you the letter about they receive your application, they say to you that only selected candidates will move on to the next step. Or will be contacted. So sometimes they send you that letter of acknowledgement of receipt, and afterwards you never hear anything from them, and that should tell you that you're not the selected candidate to move forward. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But if I know, if I could predict where you're going with this, I'm already bored. You know, I'm bored. with this whole Elwin St. Rose and what Thurl Prudence said and what this individual said.
No.
I'm bored.
No,
If that's where
Tim.
you're going, I'm bored. I'm real bored.
No, Tim. I am giving you scenarios and according to something I believe. I'm saying to you, Tim, this is one scenario. I was bombarded like you. I listened and I said nothing. I hear people and I just let it talk because it has to die, Tim. And I'm not into this thing. I believe in peace. I believe in unity and democracy and independence, and people move forward. But all I say to you, Tim, you have 17 constituencies. About 4 or 5 are uncontested for the candidate to run. And let's say 12 of them, they have candidates. Tim, if you have not, there for nearly all of those 12 constituencies, there were more than about, not in any case was there just one candidate, there were about 3, 4, 5. And there was a process for everybody. And I ask you, Tim, why is it that you're not hearing anything from the other rejected candidates? I think that the United Workers' Party has announced about 8 or so new candidates so far. Why are you not hearing anything from the other rejected candidates when there was a process that all of them went through? I just want to throw this out there. And as I said, I'm not mentioning names or talking on anybody. I ask a question that a lot of people, I read your comments, the comments that they were writing and the questions they were asking. Yeah. And I put that question out there for people to think about and ask themselves, what happened to the more than 3 or 4 persons who were rejected, women as well, rejected, good women. And I just throw 2, Mr. Harwin Viewfort and Miss Wilson, 2 very good, excellent people. They too were rejected and they went through the process. Why are you not hearing them? And why all of those 12 people, those 12 constituencies, all those people who were rejected, why are they not complaining about the process? That's all I want to say, Tim. If there was no process, if things were not so, why are all these people quiet? What is wrong with them? Is there something wrong? If the United Workers' Party was so unprofessional, lack of integrity and everything, what happened to those other people and intelligent people with good business and everything? Why are they silent? That's all I want to say, Tim. Okay,
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Somebody says in the chat room, Tim, that's not true. You are not bored because you brought it up today. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Somebody says that, Tim, tell Mr. Guy Joseph to kill it. And the person goes on to say as well, just moments ago, me too, Tim. I'm bored. I'm tired of that whole issue involving Mr. St. Rose and the UWP and Thurl Prudence and who said what at what meeting, etc. Let's move on because he is now an independent candidate. The United Workers' Party has chosen a candidate for that seat, the Ancillary Canaries. And in the case of the St. Lucia Labour Party, you have the incumbent in Wayne Girard. Let's just move on. You have another call? Via the landline, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Okay, let me see. All right, I think we have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you. How is Canada today?
Oh, well, we're lovely. The orange monkey still take over yet, so we're doing good.
Okay, and you have a new prime minister.
Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon.
And you have a new prime minister, right, in Mark Carney?
Yeah. I'm not really excited about this guy. He looks really dull. I'm not really excited about him. Well, but anyway, that's Canadian politics. It's not as flamboyant as American and St. Lucian politics.
I suspect God sent this guy to take on Donald Trump.
I know, eh? Speaking of God, Tim, I want to ask the question. Whose side do you think God on? Alan Chastney or Richard Frederick? Because I hear both of them constantly making reference to God. As if like God was going to pick if God was real, he was going to pick sides in human squabbles. Don't you think that's a bit hubris, Tim?
Yeah, it is. Huh? I don't think God is really taking. God is not taking a huge interest in things of that nature. God would leave it to us, the people, to make a decision as to, who becomes the Prime Minister, who becomes the MP for whichever constituency, and just to rule ourselves. And he's just there monitoring and watching.
I know, because he has the entire universe to look after. After all, we're just petty little animals on one little planet in one little corner of the entire universe, right?
And take care.
But anyways,
take care of people like yourself in Canada. That's why you're safe in Canada. You know what I mean? You get to call. Anyway,
I'm not safe. I'm not safe, Tim. We have a lunatic south of the border.
Right. But I know that's not why you called. What's in your mind?
I want to big up Miss Rigobert. Anyway, sit down, lay down, or stand up in the world, sir. You're actually an inspiration. And I want you to have a lovely weekend. Anyways, Tim, I heard you were bored, so I just called to lighten up your day a bit and let you know that you, sir, are also an institution. And no matter how people try to malign you and say on their talk shows and talk shit about Timothy, I know Timothy tries his best to remain objective and unbiased. But on the other side, Tim, I also want to big up the people of Roseau. I hope this is contagious and it spreads all over the country. The first place I wanted to go to is Vieux-Fort North, Tim, because the roads in Grace and the roads in Vigier are deplorable, Tim. Tim, not even 4x4 supposed to drive on them kind of road there. Not even ATV, Tim. There's more pothole than road. Every 6 inches is a hole, Tim. Tim, I was down there and I went to Grace, Tim, and my father had to drive at 2 kilometers an hour, Tim. Literally. Wow. Swerving to both sides of the road. Well, whatever is left of the road, Tim. And I hope what happened in Roseau this afternoon, Tim, or this morning, I hope it spreads over the island. This is not a political thing. Even if UWP was in power and the people are disgruntled, I admire their courage for taking to the streets and making such a statement, even though it may have hampered the lives of other people in terms of them getting to work. And I understand the limitations in case of emergencies. There are people who are sick and maybe an ambulance needs to get by and so on and so forth. I understand all the limitations to the protest, but such a protest is necessary. And it's time, St. Lucian people, stop letting politicians direct them as to what they should protest and not protest. Protest should not come from political parties. Protest should come from the people. You are disgruntled, whether you Labour, you Flabo, you PLP, you Independent, things are working out for everybody the same way. Okay, Tim? Anyways, have a nice weekend. You too, Amanda, and big up you, Mr. Rigobert. Thank you, Tim, for your time.
Thank you so much for calling, son. All the best to you as well. All our listeners around the world listening to the broadcast on the internet, via YouTube, Facebook, on the radio, you name it. We really do appreciate you. Time for our NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads, U.S. meat trade days away from getting kicked out of China. U.S. meat trade days away from getting kicked out of China. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, Tim, I believe Rick is agreeing with your point about the mechanisms. However, what he's trying to convey is that in the meantime, these mechanisms are frustratingly ineffective. He suggests that Guy should take further steps to protect his valuable reputation, and reassure his supporters. I support your view on the mechanisms, and particularly as the mechanisms are frustratingly and deliberately not functioning, one has to go the extra mile. And let me see if I have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, Tim, I believe the government should waive duties on vehicle parts, suspension parts, for a period until they have done something meaningful with our roads. Another WhatsApp message. Good afternoon, Tim. You are too much. God is interested in what we do, Tim. I love listening to you. You are not bored. You need to give us a call out in Texas. So Texas, hello. I hope everything is fine with you and hope you have yourself a great weekend. Especially you, Margarita, always watching and listening to this broadcast. All right. Let's see if we can take a final call via the landline at 452-2979. Hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You on the air?
Yeah, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
Tim, Are you aware of the country doesn't have white sugar?
The country does not have white sugar?
No.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Since in December.
I wasn't.
There was no sugar nowhere.
Since when?
I think since in December.
Since December, okay.
Yeah, there was no rice, but now they have rice.
Yes, I know about the rice.
No white sugar.
Yeah. And how is that impacting you? How is that affecting you?
It's affecting me, Tim, because I wanted to make my cakes and my stuff for
your business.
My business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that Auntie, what's her name? Auntie Emma is
Auntie
listening.
Emma.
Yeah, Auntie Emma. She's listening and she's watching, and if not, somebody will tell her that.
Yeah, she's watching. Don't worry, she's hearing.
Okay. All right, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, you too. I don't know if we have any final comments in the chat room, Amanda. Do we have any?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
A comment I read, this coming elections will be the most independent election in St. Lucia history. Bunch of jokers. Someone says, I totally agree with everyone just crawling out from under their rock to enrich themselves on the back of the poor. Another comment I read, surely not both sides, Rick. The accusations came from the Labour Party from the beginning and continued up to today. That has been their strategy. They crap at the opponent's reputations with not a shred of evidence. A NewsSpinner says here, and will the cases be called? Shastney has said he has 14 cases dating back 5 years ago and no show. Another commentary reads, the detractors will deny you regardless of what you present, team. Someone says there are too much roro and false allegations in the public domain. Another commentary reads, that is the SLP playbook. Even when things are debunked, the SLP will repeat and repeat. A NewsSpinner says there, this is one time when I agree totally with Tim. I just don't understand why Rick would continue to want to let an institution like the Integrity Commission off the hook when he does not do the same for Wasco, Lucilec, or the police. The Integrity Commission is a construct of our Constitution, and so its members have a duty to the police, to the public outside of politics. And another commentary reads, and if what King is saying is true, then he must speak out openly about the corruption pending details. The names he called must provide their account, and if true, then the people who did the acts as well as King must be equally punished. I'm sick of accusations with no details, which does not force the accused to defend themselves. And that's it for me, Tim.
Thank you so much. And finally, Tim, I'm a loyal supporter of the UWP win or lose. Some of the defeated members of the UWP are traitors. Denry South, Edmund Estefan wants to go up as an independent candidate. He was in government for 15 years. Now you want to do that. One person was selected. They have to accept the party's decision. These guys are too greedy. They never liked the party. Troops. And I cannot verify or substantiate this particular contribution. I don't know that Mr. Estefan wants to contest the Dennery South seat as an independent. That's something I'll have to look into. So I cannot vouch for the veracity of that comment that you just made, or that contribution that you just made. To you, thank you so much for watching and listening to the world's most monitored broadcast. And hope you have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. God willing, we'll be back on Monday afternoon, 12:30. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.